When you look at a map of the United States, it seems so permanent. 50 states, clean borders, a massive nation stretching from ocean to ocean. But what if I told you that none of this was guaranteed? That every single line you see on that map was fought over, negotiated, purchased, or in some cases, just taken. The map of America isn't just geography. It's a dramatic story of ambition, war, incredible risk, and bold vision. This is the shocking, untold history of how the United States was actually made. Let's rewind to 1776, when America declared its independence from Great Britain. It wasn't the giant country we know today. Far from it. It was just 13 colonies, all huddled together along the Atlantic coastline. After a long and bloody war, the Treaty of Paris in 1783 officially ended the American Revolution and recognized the United States as a sovereign nation. This treaty set the young country's western border at the Mississippi River. Beyond that river lay a vast, unknown wilderness, home to powerful Native American nations and claimed by competing European empires like France and Spain. America was small, fragile, and surrounded. But from its very first breath, it had enormous ambition. The founders didn't just see 13 states. They envisioned an empire of liberty stretching across the continent. But how could they possibly achieve it? The answer would come sooner than anyone expected, with a deal that would change history forever. Fast forward to 1803. President Thomas Jefferson is in the White House, and he's worried. The powerful French leader, Napoleon Bonaparte, controls the port of New Orleans, which is the gateway for all American trade on the Mississippi River. Jefferson sends diplomats to France, hoping to buy just the city of New Orleans. But Napoleon, bogged down in European wars and needing cash fast, makes an astonishing counteroffer. He offers to sell not just New Orleans, but the entire Louisiana territory. For a price of $15 million, the United States could acquire 828,000 square miles of land. It was one of the boldest, most audacious decisions in American history. The U.S. Constitution said nothing about a president being able to buy foreign land. Critics screamed it was unconstitutional and a massive overreach of power. Some feared the nation was expanding too quickly and would collapse under its own weight. But Jefferson saw the future. He believed America's destiny lay to the west, and he seized the opportunity. With the stroke of a pen, the United States doubled in size, literally overnight. This single deal, the Louisiana Purchase, completely reshaped the map and set the stage for everything that was to come. But the westward push was far from over. Now, let's turn our attention south to Texas. In 1836, after a fierce revolution, American settlers in Texas declared their independence from Mexico and formed their own nation, the Republic of Texas. For nearly a decade, it stood as a lone country. But many Texans and Americans wanted it to join the United States. In 1845, that's exactly what happened. The U.S. annexed Texas, making it the 28th state. Mexico, which had never officially recognized Texan independence, considered this an act of war. Tensions exploded, and the Mexican-American War began. The conflict was brutal and controversial. But when it ended 2 years later, with the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo. The consequences were monumental. Mexico was forced to cede nearly half of its territory to the United States. This massive land transfer included present-day California, Nevada, Utah, Arizona, New Mexico, and parts of Colorado and Wyoming. Just like that, America stretched all the way to the Pacific Ocean. The dream of manifest destiny, a nation from coast to coast, had become a reality. But it was a reality built on conquest. And it came at a staggering political and moral cost that the country is still grappling with today. With the southern border now reaching the Pacific, one major piece of the puzzle remained: the North. The vast region known as the Oregon Territory, which includes modern-day Oregon, Washington, Idaho, and parts of Canada, was claimed by both Great Britain and the United States. For years, they had a shaky agreement to jointly occupy the land. But by the 1840s, American settlers were pouring in, and tensions were rising. The public mood was aggressive. A popular slogan, 54-40 or fight, demanded that the U.S. claim the entire territory up to the border of Russia and Alaska. War with the most powerful empire on earth, Great Britain, seemed imminent. But this time, diplomacy won the day. Instead of going to war, the two nations negotiated. In 1846, the Oregon Treaty was signed, setting the boundary peacefully at the 49th parallel. That line still defines much of the U.S.-Canada border today. By the late 1800s, with the continent largely settled, America began looking even further. In 1867, it purchased Alaska from Russia in a deal famously called Seward's Folly, though it later proved to be rich in resources. Then, in 1898, after years of political maneuvering and the overthrow of its native monarchy, the United States annexed the sovereign kingdom of Hawaii. It officially became the 50th state in 1959, completing the modern map of the United States. From the Atlantic to the Pacific. From the frozen Arctic to the tropical islands of the Pacific. The United States as we know it was not shaped by accident. It was forged by bold purchases that defied the Constitution. It was expanded by wars that redrew the lines of the continent. It was defined by negotiations that avoided bloodshed, and by leaders who were willing to take enormous risks for their vision of the country's future. Every single line on that map represents a critical decision, a bitter conflict, a major turning point in history. So, the next time you look at a map of the United States, remember that those clean, simple borders were once uncertain, fiercely debated, and fought over. They tell a story of a nation in constant motion, always pushing, always changing. If you love uncovering the hidden stories that shaped our world, make sure to follow for more history just like this. Thanks for watching.